Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this tutorial I'm going to be teaching us the easiest way to cut a basic bodice pattern. So please don't forget to like, subscribe and comment on this video. Thank you. So we're using our pattern paper for this illustration. The first thing we're going to do is to take our the length of the top. I'm using 25 plus 1 inch allowance, that's 26 for the M. Then you connect the dots. Then we're going to take our shoulder measurement, which is 16 divided by 2, that's 8 inches. Then you take your neck measurements. I'm using 3.5 because for like a big size. If the person's measurement is smaller, you can use 3 inches. So you take your shoulder slanting, which is 1 inch. Connect the line to your neckline like this. Then you take your armhole measurement, which is 8. 8 is constant for for size 10, 12 and 14, but you can use 7 for a smaller size like size 6. Then just to make sure it is 8, you connect your shoulder slanting, your armhole measurements. So now we're going to measure our chest line. It's also called the bust line. Chest line, bust line is the same thing. So from the end of your armhole, you measure your bust divided by 4 plus your 1.5 inches allowance. You rule it out. Then your waist, the waist is 6 inches from your chest line. This is constant. This your waist line is your half length measurement. We are going to get there along the line. So you measure your waist measurement divided by 4 plus your 1.5 inches allowance. Then go to your hip line. The hip line of the top is the full length of your top. The M, that's your hip line. Then you measure your hip divided by 4 plus your allowance. So this is a normal basic bodice measurement. Connect the shoulder slant, the armhole, the chest line, the waistline and the full length, the hip. But there's something we call the under bust. That's the from your shoulder to your the under bust, from your shoulder to under bust before your half length. So for this client, I'm using 12 for the under bust, because when you measure, you have to measure this part on yourself or your client or whoever you are sewing for. But this one is 12, so you just connect like this. Whoever you are sewing for can be 11, can be 10, it depends on body size, but this is 12, so you just roll it and connect. You can also label it just for identity: your chest line, your under bust, your waistline, also known as half length. After labeling the chest line and all the lines, then we get our midpoint, our nipple to nipple measurements, the bust point. I'm using 4.5. You can use 3, depends on your client. You have to measure the person's breast point. So 4.5 from the chest line to the hip line, then you roll it down. 4.5 all through. Then we're working on the waistline. You take 0.5 inch at the left and at the right, 0.5 for the cuffing of the bust. You can make it 1 inch on both sides if you want it to cuff very well, but we're taking 0.5 on 2 sides. Then you connect it like this. From the waistline, connect to the chest line like this to the 0.5. From the hip too, you connect from 0.5 straight down. Then it should be looking like this. 0.5 on both sides, connect it to the chest line, connect it to the hip line. It's that simple. So you connect your lines, the dotted lines, the waist, the bust and the hip on the allowance, please, on the allowance. You connect it. Then you can make the hem of the hip to curve like this if you don't want a sharp edge. It depends, or you can just leave it like that. It's fine. So now we take our armhole curving. You measure your armhole, which is 8 inches, divided by 2. You get the midpoint. Then you come in by 0.5. 0.5, you come in. Then you can use your curve ruler if you don't know how to use your hand to curve well. Then just connect it to from the armhole to that 0.5 we took in. Then it should look like this. This is the armhole curve we need. Then that's all. Just take your neck, round neck, any kind of neck you want. Just for this sake of illustration, I'm taking v-neck. Then you connect it. So we are done with our back. So now I want to cut out the back piece. Place the front on the back like this. Then you measure your zip allowance. I've done mine already. The next thing you're going to do is to make the back piece higher by 1 inch, just so the thing can fall on the front, just like this, but make the body accurate. But the back is meant to be higher by 1 inch, just 1 inch, like this. You cut it out. So you just bend the 1 inch down like this on the front piece. So it's going to turn to like 0.5. Then from that point you cut it out. Note, the back armhole is not meant to curve like the front. The back armhole is just the normal cutting. You're not meant to take in that 0.5 we took for the front piece. You're taking it just for the front, not for the back. So you just cut it the same way. The hip, the waist, the chest line, everything is the same. Then you cut your neck, your back neck, which is always higher than the front. I just took 1 inch down. You connect and you cut out your 1 inch for the back falling, which is going to turn to 0.5 inch like this. Your armhole should not go in by 0.5 like the front. It's just for the front. Then cut out your waist, your hip and your chest line the same way. So now this is our back piece, your zip allowance. And I made a dot from the front, just the waistline, the chest line and the under bust. I just made a dot so I can know where they are on the back piece. You can also do yours, because I want to take the dots at the back too. Then from the zip allowance, please, not from the beginning, from the zip allowance, measure your 4.5 again. Then you connect, just the same thing we did on the front, the same thing you're going to do at the back. You connect them like this. Then on the waistline still, take your 0.5. It's basically the same thing we did at the front. Connect them to the 0.5. And that's all.